Hello and welcome to the Pipnotic Symposium for the 29th of July 2017. I'm sitting in a restaurant in Vancouver, so I'm going to try and keep this as short as possible. So there might be a bit of background noise, and I apologize for that. Okay, let's have a look at the currency strength and see what's going on. You can see that we have the Swiss franc, which is on the decline, and we have the Canadian dollar, which is picking up. Not good for my holiday. And then we have, we have the American dollar, which is also on the decline, and it looks like that's about it. We have the Kiwi is looking pretty neutral, relatively strong. So let's have a quick look at the Canadian dollar, Swiss franc. Let's bring that up here. Canadian dollar, Swiss franc. Oops, so this should be, the CAD is strong, so that's moving higher. So this should be moving higher, and you can see we have a really nice push up here. If we have a look on the weekly chart, you can see that we are approaching this weekly supply for the first time. This is a fresh, untested area, but you can see that price has already been back to this level. If you have a look just here, you can see the price has already been back there up to here, so you want to look a little bit deeper for that. But for the time being, keep in mind that we are approaching this weekly supply, so we want to be buying. See, we have a really nice continuation pattern here on the weekly chart. Again, you go to the daily chart and we have a look. You can see that we have a couple of untested areas here just below current price. So we have all of this in here. This is not a demand. We do have this little area here, which I like. Further down we have this one here, which is nice. Then we have this here, but below that we have this one here. There's not a whole lot in here because price has kind of been moving up and around and down for a while, but we do have this one here, which I do like. So from around here to here. Just going to remove these rectangles, so we have to find these areas ourselves. So we've got that. That's a nice area just there. And I mean, this is on the longer term. We should be buying, but if you look, I mean, you can go down to any time frame here, but you can see this is messy. There's nothing in here that's interesting. This is interesting. I hope you can see why. I hope you can see that here we have this demand is not very attractive. You can see how price went up and went down immediately. It went up and went down. So there's this is not looking pretty. This is the only one that is looking nice, and this is for a reason that I hope is obvious to you. You can see how price rallied, accumulated, and then rallied. Price has not been back since. All this stuff has been kind of chopped in and about. It doesn't mean though that you can't go to the smaller time frames and have a crack on, for example, the hourly chart. If you see on the hourly chart, we do have a couple of areas. We have, I mean, this one is good, but it's been tested, so it's not fresh. We have this one, which is not pretty. We have this one here, which looks pretty good on the hourly chart, and price is kind of rallied, accumulated, rallied, and accumulated. So this is okay. The 7600 area. So this is, of course, is on the hourly chart. You go to the smaller time frame, the 50-minute chart, then you can look at something entirely fresh. You can see there's absolutely nothing in here that we'd want to touch because there's nothing fresh in there at all. So this is the cheapest price that you want to pay for the CAD Swiss franc for the time being. If we have a look at what else we have the everything else is looking pretty tough. We can have a look at the dollar, Canadian dollar here. So you can see here that we're testing this area here, which is an area that's been tested before. So price has already been back to the lows here, and our prices are having a bit of a pause. If we remove all of these areas and then we disable the automatic levels, so we have to do these ourselves. So you can see here that, I mean, price is just dumping off as the strength information is telling us. And so above price, you can see that we have this really nice area here. Which is untested. I like this one here. Pretty decent area. It's pretty small. It's 156 pips. It's close to the big figure as well, so I like that very much. So if we mark that one off, and if we move lower, keeping in mind that we want to be selling, we do have a couple of areas that are still untested here on the to the downside here. We have two areas above each other here, so we can just pull these together from here to here. Kind of a bigger area, but 150 pips there. But you can see price is leaving that, and it's not been back. Nice and fresh. This is my favorite. This is okay. This is of course a little bit better. I like this also at the big figure as well, similar to this one. But I mean, you want to keep in mind that you should be selling. That said, you can go to the small time frames. You can kind of do whatever you want. But if you look on the small time frames, there's absolutely nothing here. There's no supply whatsoever. So we need to know where we are in relation to the greater period areas. And we have this weekly area just here, as you can see, marked off there. And so below price, we have this here. It has been tested once before here. Price went to the high of the wick there. So the 120.75, I wouldn't buy anything. I wouldn't pay a price any more expensive than that for this. But you can see price is drifting lower in a real hurry. So keep in mind we have weekly down here. We have weekly just above. I'm going to remove this like so. And so you can see that we have, these are the two areas of supply and demand in relation to current price. So we could probably get price could move all the way down here, but it could also move up to here. So just keep that in mind when you're looking at the smaller time frames. We drop down to the 4-hour chart. There's nothing up here that's interesting. If we scroll back and see for some demand, I mean, this was a nice area. Let's just mark this off. I'm not exactly sure where we are in relation to that. Maybe we've torn through it. Yeah, that one's gone. We already had the test there, as you can see. So price is actually really far down. So we're going to go to the 4-hour, and we're going to scroll. So you can see here. So price is currently here. I like this a lot. This is very nice. Untested. This is a lovely area. Matter of fact, what account? I'm on a very small demo account. I'm going to put this one on because I like this one. I'm just going to so if we kind of move this up to current price, move this a little bit below. This is a tiny one here. Let me refresh. I like this area. This is worth a shot. There's no opposing supply, so this is nice. Let's just put this one on. This is a tiny little flower. We're going to buy it at market, and our stop is going to be the 123.40, and our target is going to be 131.90. Market is closed. Not going to work. It's Saturday. Sorry, I have absolutely no idea what the day it is. Anyway, this was a great entry. It's on the weekend, so I'm going to leave that, and we'll come back to that. We can't get in there, but you can see that what price is doing. This looks pretty interesting. So if we have a look a little bit further, we can see that. Let's go back there. So we're reacting here. This is lovely. I like this a lot. And below that we have this one here. This is also nice. Kind of in here. So we have those two areas there. So that's what we have there. So a couple of decent areas there. Let's just do this one, the yen. I'm going to remove all of these areas, everything. And then we're going to remove okay, those are switched off. Lovely. Go to the weekly, see what's going on. So we have, you can see that we have, I can't do anything with those. We have this area here which we really like. Price is still looking to go to come down here. We have this one here which is tested once. This is a low probability trade, this one that's in there now. I'm thinking this is the algo trader doing this. Let's have a look. Okay, I can see what looks like a pretty decent release, but price has been back there. So this is not a terribly high probability trade, and so I'll pull that off when the market opens. But if we look in relation to current price, what do we have? Well, we have this here. There's a nice rally accumulation drop, which is good, still untested. There's nothing in here. Price has already been back to this level. Above that, I mean, we have this high here, but I'm not very pleased about that. So we have to look up, and there's not really anything until we get up to here. This is a nice area. I hope you can see why there isn't anything back in here. We have this one, supply, and then we don't have supply until up here. This is not a picture perfect area. We could remove that. The only fresh supply we have is up here, just because price left very aggressively here. Price has already been back there. You can see it's traded out, so we had a cut lower. So this is kind of like a lower probability area. This is the only one that I think is worth looking at there. If we have a look on the 4-hour chart, you can see that we have this area here, which looks nice. 4-hour chart, where were we? We have this, and you might look at this and think, well, that looks like a nice area. You have to keep in mind that it's not a decent area because you see the wicks moving up into this area, so price has already been through this area previously, so price has traded this out. So this is not a valid area. So this we want to remove. To the downside, we have this nice area just here. We'll just mark from the highs down to around here. This is okay, the 109.90 area. This is a decent area. We're probably going to get some kind of a bounce there, but you want to make sure that if you're taking this, that you have room for the trade. So you want at least 120 pips to opposing supply, which we have. We have this one here, which has been tested. So this is not one to trade, but it is one to consider to get out of for opposing. And this is pretty far away from price. But depending what price does when it leaves this area here, if we accumulate and then start to move down, then we're going to have an opposing area of supply which is too close to current price, which will probably keep us out of this. So we have this one, which is nice and untested. You know, we're going to move that here, stick to the clear levels. So we have this one here at the 109.70. We might probably going to get a test there. This is not a nice one. I'm going to remove that. And so that's what we have there. If we have a look on the weekly chart, what do we have? We actually don't have any clear, fresh anything until we get, maybe around here. We've got this little area here, which is very far away from price. There's nothing really much else in here. And this has been tested. This is all traded and messy and not nice. We have this to the upside. We don't really have anything. This has been tested. We have this kind of rally, accumulation rally, but I don't like the period there. And so this is actually for shorter term trading only. We do have a nice release here, but price has already been back to this level, so there's nothing to buy in here. There's no demand here. We had a look at the euro yen. On the weekly, what do we have? We have this pretty decent release here. Go like that on the weekly. Go to the daily chart and have a look. You can see we actually will remove the weekly, and we're going to put this area on. We'll do something like this. I think this is pretty interesting. Still untested. I like that. Also, it's in line with the current trend. See how price is racing north. We're probably going to move to this highs here, like the 50 area. I like this. This is a nice area. So we have a kind of accumulation rally. This is a really nice departure from this area, which tells us we have some institutional flows that enter the market at roughly this area here. So that's nice. Above price, what do we have? There is no supply up here until we get to around here. Just here. So I wouldn't look to sell until we got to around here. We have this one, which has been tested. We had a gap down from this. There's a micro area of supply just here we can probably find. Let's just have a look. Sorry for racing back and forth, just trying to, there it is. So you can see here that, there's nothing here. We have this as kind of an extended period. This is the only one that I would consider, and it looks better on the daily chart. So I would leave it at that. So you can go down to the 1 hour chart and see if there's anything there. And there isn't really anything to do there. So we have this one about here, which has been almost tested. This looks like a pretty decent area. What is it? 23 at the 126.30. Looks like a nice area. So that might be something to look at for a shorter term trade there. Let's have a look at the Aussie as a final pin. I'm going to have to get out of here because I can see there's a lot of visitors starting to build up in here. Okay, good. Let's make sure we have the levels turned off. Go to the weekly. What's going on? We have we have this area here, which has been tested once. Here on the release, we have this one, which has been tested, not good. Price is kind of rallying, so we're moving higher. On the weekly, on the daily chart, what do we have? We have this one, which I like. Still untested, fresh, looking for some action. 78.27. Looks like a nice area. And if we go to the, but yeah, okay, I mean, it was like this on the daily, but you can see actually this is not a good area to trade at all, which tells us it's a really good idea to go to the smaller time frames. Where is the real area? Well, the real area is down here. This is not even a very pretty one, but we could maybe box it off like that, or change the name, refresh. So now we go from that daily area to this 1 hour area, which starts just about here. This is a nice release, I like this, and the price has not been back to the area since then. Then looking below, there's nothing at all until we get to here. This is the only area that we have that is in any way interesting, for reasons I hope you can see. See how price rallied. We had that pullback, accumulation, then a release. We also have this one, but price has already been back, so it's not a fresh area, so leave that alone and take this one here. This is the nice fresh one, so I wouldn't touch anything until price got down to here. And then below that, on this, well, let's see where we are. I mean, there's nothing really. There's nothing at all until we get a lot lower. So if we look above price, kind of opposing areas or supply, where are we? Okay, so price is currently here. Let's go to the hourly. Got to move down, got to move back, and we've got to look for it. Okay, so this is where price reacted. Price reacted on this release. If you look up, and we have a couple of areas we can overlap, maybe from the high here to the low there. So we have two areas we can box off. So that's what we're looking at as a possible area to sell at now. Price is pretty close, the 8100-ish area. So look for there if you're looking to find the place where market will probably have a bit of a bounce just there. Oh, and on the weekly chart you can see very clearly that we have this just here, which is likely actually a reaction to this. If you go to the smaller time frames, you're going to find what it is. See if we can find on the daily. Not sure if I have enough. We have this here. Let's mark that one off so we can see what that is. Now this is gone. Ancient, really far back. But that's what we have there on. Deleting all the levels now. Oh, goodness me. So we have the weekly one there. We also have this one here, which is just below. So if you want to take this one, you're going to want to give it a bit of a stop, because we have this area just above. This is a monthly area. It's a 75-50-ish area. Looks like a pretty nice area. For the time being, price is really moving high, and price is going to move this pretty easily until it gets here, simply because this is thinned out and traded out. So you want to be looking to buy the Australian dollar, American dollar. And looking here on the 1 hour chart, you can kind of see where you want to be positioning yourself. I don't like how price, this is not pretty at all, but you could see what price would do. I don't know if I could take that, because it's not a very clear area. But this is where price released from, and it did leave pretty nicely. So maybe a test down at this area here, and I think that might be okay. But you got to be careful with this, because for the time being there's not a lot there, and you don't want to force it. If you can't find it, then move to something else. Let's take a look at the pound. That's the final one. Let me remove the areas. And a quick update, by the way, the new version of the software based on TradingView charts is coming along. The front end is pretty much way. The algos have just begun to be implemented, but I'm looking for a data provider to sell me some price data, and it's turned out to be a really expensive thing to get access to. So I'm negotiating with some of the major banks actually, and I'm hoping to have this resolved within the next week, or hopefully the first week back after returning to Denmark. Okay, what do we have here on this one? Well, we have, I like this area here. Price has moved away from that pretty strongly. It's not been back since. That's what we have below price. What about above price? Price has already been back here, so there's nothing in there. So you're going to go to the smaller time frames to find something that's interesting. And we don't really have anything. It's too pretty. Until around, we have this, but it's not a beautiful area. This is a tough one. And then you're probably going to be testing this resistance. You see like bottom here, how price broke down. So they'll probably test like the 140 20-ish area here. But above that we have this really strong release from this price level here. For the time being, price seems to be wriggling higher. We're going to move through this probably pretty easily until we reach this kind of the 1.4 area, and I think that's probably going to be a place where price is going to react. So you could have a look at that, give yourself a decent stop, because price will potentially, or has to find liquidity required to cap price, and this is just resistance, this is not supply. So you're going to have to be careful with that. Okay, I think I'm going to leave it at that. It's getting noisy here, people are piling in, but I'll push this out. If you have any questions, please send them in. If you want me to cover anything in the next symposium, please let me know and I'll be thrilled to do so. Okay, that's it. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.